Well, hey everyone, today Dead by Daylight had their 6th anniversary stream and a ton of information coming out of this thing, a ton of announcements. I'm very excited to see a lot of what is coming, maybe a little skeptical about a couple things, kind of wait and see, we'll see, have mild concern, but for the most part, I feel it was very positive for us and I'm excited to see how this all plays out. A lot of information here, so let's break it down, give you the Cliff Notes version. They're changing a lot of things. They didn't give hard delivery dates, but I did appreciate that they gave at least ballpark what they're hoping to aim for. And I think it's important for us to be understanding if they can't hit some of these marks, because it would encourage developers to be more open and honest if they could, not fear that their community is going to get really upset if they don't hit some of these marks. So if they don't hit some of them, I think we should be, gracious towards that and understanding towards that, and just appreciate the fact that they're trying to be open and honest with us and give us some idea, some roadmap of what we hopefully will expect and they'll hopefully be able to deliver on. So anyways, all that to say, a lot of stuff is getting reworked. The Mori rework is exciting to me. Essentially, right now, Moris are offerings that you burn and you get a chance to Mori Survivor, essentially. And instead, they're doing away with the offerings altogether. They're going to try to have this implemented in by Halloween 2022, but essentially the way the new Moris will work is that if you are the killer, no matter what, you don't have to bring an offering into the game, no matter what. If you put the last survivor into the dying state, basically what will happen is there will be a little scene transition. The trial will end right there, and you'll transition to another part of the map, which is open. There's not going to be the random object obstructing the Mori animation, and instead, basically, it's the last thing you'll do if you get a 4K will be to Mori the final survivor. They really felt like these Moris showcase the personality of the killer, and so I think they're trying to highlight those. So, if you're a killer who gets a lot of 4Ks, you're going to be able to see a lot of Moris. I think that's going to be really cool. The one kind of downside to that, I guess, is apparently there's not going to be giving the last survivor hatch anymore, which kind of, I don't know, for some of you out there, I know there's some people who hate that and so might actually celebrate this, but to me, sometimes I do like giving the last survivor hatch. So I guess unless you just let them escape full out, there won't be that anymore. It'll just be an automatic Mori. So anywho, that'll be Halloween 2022 if they can hit that deadline. They're also going to have a massive perk overhaul. Essentially, they've seen, which I think people have been arguing for a while, that there's essentially a base kit of meta perks that almost everybody runs if they want to be even the slightest bit competitive in the trial. They named several of them. A lot of them are going to be our favorite perks to run. Why? Because they're meta perks and they work. Barbecue and Chili, Corrupt Intervention, Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, Hex Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, Dead Hard, Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, Iron Will, Self-Care were ones that they actually called out by name, but they are going to be reworking. Essentially what they saw is a bunch of people running these perks, and it creates kind of this ongoing, every trial's semi the same because everybody's running the same perks. And so they're going to try to encourage variety by changing up how a lot of these perks work. And so it's a massive overhaul. Nearly 40 perks are going to be overhauled in some way. And they said including the meta perks. So the ones that they actually named out, the ones that many of us love, are going to get an overhaul. Now, I think probably what that means, obviously they didn't name 40 meta perks. And there aren't 40 meta perks, otherwise we wouldn't have the problem of everyone running the same 4 perks every single trial. So, point is, they're overhauling more than just the meta perks, it looks like. And so I'm guessing what's going to happen is they're going to nerf a lot of the meta perks, and they're going to buff a lot of the non-meta perks, which is concerning and exciting to me. Exciting for, inevitably what will be the buffs, but also concerning for, some of these meta perks, just because, some of these perks are fun, and a lot of times I'll see game devs, when something's OP, they'll nerf it in the ground, or when something's meta, they'll nerf it in the ground and it's no longer fun. And I'm a little concerned about that. So I'm really hoping they go light on the nerfs and big on the buffs. Because personally, if you ask me, when a perk's fun to use, rather than being like, hey, this perk's fun to use and these perks aren't so fun to use, so let's just make all of them not as fun to use. It's much better if they say, well, these perks are fun to use, so let's make the other ones just as fun or just as powerful to use, because powerful perks are fun, right? So all that to say, I really hope they go light on the nerfs and really big on the buffs for the non-meta perks. So it would be great if we just had 40 meta perks, if you will, that all were kind of equal, but also equally fun and not just kind of, perks don't really mean a whole lot because they're not interesting or something. That's my fear, is that they'll nerf harder than they'll buff. But anyways, we'll wait and see. I'm cautiously optimistic. See. But yeah, almost 40 perks, or somewhere around the range of 40 perks, are getting tweaked. And essentially, they're also putting in build loadouts for us to be able to, take hopefully a lot more usable perks and build loadouts around those perks and not have to, keep rebuilding our loadout every single time. So that would be great. So they're also reworking prestige and progression, which is huge. Tentatively, they're trying to get this out by the summer, which is really cool. And there's over 200 perks for Killer and Survivor combined, which is an insane amount of perks, which is why DBD right now is a huge grind, especially for those of us who came in later. Like if you've been playing since the beginning, maybe you've been able to level up as you go. But for someone like me who came in at the Resident Evil chapter, oh boy, is it a little bit overwhelming to, try to level up all these characters. So all that to be said, they're going to cut down the grind, and the way they're doing it is kind of interesting. They're reworking prestiging so that when you prestige a character for the first time, get them to level 50 and then prestige them, basically you'll unlock their tier 1 perks on every character of the same type. So if you're playing Killer, prestige them to level 50, then it'll unlock their tier 1 perks on all your other Killers. Same thing for the Survivors. And then when you prestige them the second time, tier 2 gets unlocked on all the Killers or Survivors. And then the same thing for prestige 3. Tier 3 will unlock. So it's a much quicker way to unlock perks on all your Killers and Survivors. No longer do you have to level a character to level 50 to unlock, or level 30, 30, 35, and 40 to unlock their teachables, and then you have to level the other characters that you want those perks on all the way up until randomly, and just hope that it shows up randomly in the blood web to unlock. Now it'll be a much more quicker and reliable way of actually leveling your characters. So that'll be really cool. For those of you who have already prestiged to tier 3, you will get a special reward. They haven't said what it is, but they said it will be a distinct reward for each level 3 character on your account. Also, for those of you who just decided not to prestige and just kept going with the blood webs, they said that they're basically going to, essentially the number of perks and perk tiers that you've acquired, they will factor that in to automatically prestige you when this new system launches. So you'll be taken care of as well. If you just said, hey, I don't want a prestige, I don't want those prestige cosmetics, I just want to unlock perks, like your time investment will be honored as well through an automatic prestiging, essentially. So pretty cool stuff. You'll also be able to buy perk tiers from the Shrine of Secrets. So every week when it has the different perks that you can purchase, now you will actually be able to purchase perk tiers as well. So that'll be pretty cool. Perk tiers will scale in how many shards it costs as well, apparently, which makes sense. They announced a ton of quality of life improvements, which are pretty much all exciting, I would say. I mentioned the preset loadouts. We will be able to have, I believe it's up to 3 preset loadouts, including perks, items, add-ons, and offerings. So that'd be pretty sweet. The main menu is getting a visual update. Basically, everything's moving to the left side of the screen. You'll have special indicators of how long the rift is still open. You'll be able to see where blood point perks will come in, which we'll talk about here in a second, but it'll be able to give you a little more information and also be a little more user-friendly and less intimidating as you boot up the game and try to figure out what the menu looks like. It'll also give them a place to show off different events happening and whatnot, while still having that kind of campfire-esque theme going on. Now, matchmaking incentives. I mentioned that real quick just a second ago, but they'll be launching a matchmaking incentive so that if they don't have enough killers, for instance, and survivor queues are taking a while because they can't find enough killers to match against you, what they're going to do is they're going to make it where a little indicator will pop up on the main menu that say like a blood point bonus for killer to try to drive more players to play Killer. So if you're one of those people who are like, hey, I don't care if I play Survivor or Killer, I just want to jump in a game as quick as possible, you'll be able to have like a visual indicator when there's a shortage of one type or the other to be able to jump over to that side and be able to queue up quickly and also get a blood point bonus. So it's going to be pretty cool. I know a lot of times, the time I'm playing, there's not a whole lot of killers, so my killer queue times will be very, very quick usually. So hopefully that means I'll get a lot of blood point bonuses as well. So anyways, all that to say, they also say this is timeframe summer 2022. Again, subject to change. They're changing the archive. This is really cool because one of my pet peeves is I'll be playing as Killer. I'll have a challenge for Killer selected, and then suddenly one of my friends will hop on and I'll switch over to Survivor, but I'll forget to change the perk, or I'll forget to change the challenge. And so what they'll do is they'll actually have it so where you can pick one survivor and one killer focused challenge. So you've always got a challenge active regardless of which side you're on. You don't have to remember to go back and switch or stop, switch from one to another one. If you're halfway through a killer challenge and your friends hop on, you're not gonna have to switch over and away from, you'll be able to keep it all active basically. So that'll be great. They say this will probably go in at fall 2022. Another thing with the Rift is you'll be able to look at the Rift outfits, the themed outfits in its entirety to be able to see how an outfit goes together. So that'll be cool. They're adding a streamer mode to be able to protect streamers' identities and content creators' identities. And also just if you want to protect your identity, there will be streamer mode for you. You don't necessarily have to be a streamer. That's also fall 2022. So it's cool to see them caring about their creators in that way. The Wiggle Escape system. So a while back, they introduced a beta feature for testing out a new Wiggle system where you have to hit skill checks instead of the Wiggle progress bar type thing going on. They've decided to go ahead and implement that in full. And so that will happen hopefully in fall 2022. I personally liked it. I know some people maybe didn't, but I personally liked the change. So I'm excited to see that. I don't know. It might be nice if they gave you the choice. I don't know. Maybe they are, and I don't know it, but it might be nice if they gave you the choice in case you really like the old version. But I feel a little more trying to hit skill checks is a little more engaging than, trying to mash A and D over and over and over and over and over again. So anyways, I'm a fan of the change. You may not be. Let us know down in the comments. They're changing some things to basically the menu system so that you're actually able to navigate through the menus as you're waiting in the queues. So no longer is it, oh, I forgot to select a new Rift challenge, but I'm already in the lobby. And while everybody's queuing up their perks and stuff, you're sitting there going, I wish I could, back out and be able to set up another Rift challenge. You should be able to navigate the Rift, the store, all kinds of things. You'll be able to basically navigate around the game menus while you're in the lobby waiting. And then basically once it starts counting down at the very end, you'll be brought back to the lobby. They say this should be winter 2022. And so I'm a fan of that because I've always been annoyed by being locked out. A lot of times I've already picked my perks. I already know what I'm going in with. And I just kind of want to be able to, look at the Rift or look at the store or look at something while I am waiting for the trial to queue up. And I just have to sit there for a minute because somebody decides to walk away from their computer after they've queued up. And you always go down to that 5 seconds. So you know who you are. Yes. Winter 2022. So hopefully that'll help. All right, the next one is bots and custom matches. Now, I am very excited about this one, and I think it's going to help new players a lot, and it's going to help even veteran players learn new killers and new survivors a ton and be able to practice stuff. This was actually something that I assumed was part of the game when I first started playing because you have those tutorial missions or tutorial, do you call them missions? I don't know, trials. And you basically went in and you played as Trapper and you played against Trapper, and I thought it was I assumed what you would do is you just go back in if you wanted to try out a new killer, but then when I loaded back in, I was just Trapper again, and I realized the only person you can do this with against bots is Trapper. And yeah, what if I want to learn a different killer? I have to go into a live match and basically just stink it up until I learn the new killer. Like, that's sometimes overwhelming, and it would be nice to be able to go in and just practice against bots and hone your skills and learn new things and all of that. And so now that's going to be something that's going to be an option. You can go into custom modes, you can load in bots, and you can play against bots to be able to try out the new killer, try out the new survivor, try different perk styles, everything in a non-live environment, which is going to be great. So their target is late 2022, so towards the end of the year. So don't expect this anytime soon, but hopefully we will have it this year. And I am very excited about it. So the other thing they announced was the event for the 6-year anniversary. It's going to be masquerade themed, which is really, really cool to me. And they're going to have, everything's going to be decked out with decorations across all the maps. They look really creepy and very, very DBD-esque. And you're going to be able to unlock different masks for certain of the killers and survivors. And you'll also be able to unlock through a event rift. You'll be able to unlock different new outfits for the new killer and the new survivor. So all really, really cool stuff. I don't know how long it will last. I know they said it'll start on June 16th, but I missed whether or not they said how long it will last. However, I did see on one of the graphics they showed of the event rift, I think it said 70 days. So I don't know if it's actually going to be that or if that was just a placeholder. Sometimes they throw in placeholder numbers and stuff like that. So all that to say, it should be a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to grinding it out for some of those cosmetic rewards because they look sick. A few other things that they announced. Obviously, they announced the new anniversary chapter where you have the new killer, Haddie Kaur. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. I did not look up the pronunciation before filming this. I should have done that. So I'm going to butcher that name, and I'm so sorry. But the Dredge is the killer. I think both of them look really stinking cool. Don't think they went into their perks. Somebody can let me know if I'm wrong on that, but I don't think on the actual stream they went into the perks. I think they said they were going to keep that secret, but I do believe the perks leaked a couple weeks ago, and if they're accurate, they're going to be interesting, to say the least. So all that to say, I'm really, really excited. I think the trailer they showed looked absolutely intensely scary, and I think the new Dredge killer is going to be terrifying. I always love their original killers, especially. I love the licenses, but I love the original killers probably a little more, and the original survivors. I think DBD has a lot of really cool lore, a lot of cool creative elements to it when they get to do their own thing and get to build their own characters, and I really appreciate that about them. And so it's cool to see this for their 6-year anniversary, and I am very, very excited to jump into the PTB right after recording this to try out some of the stuff. So anyways, new map as well, the Garden of Joy map, which looks like it's going to be pretty cool. A few other things they announced is a collab with Attack on Titan. You anime fans are going to get some anime themed skins for some of your favorite characters, so that's going to be really cool. They also announced a Dead by Daylight dating sim called Hooked on You, and I can be honest, I don't know what to say to this. It's interesting. We'll leave it at that. I guess people wanted it. And so if you were one of those people, congratulations, it's coming. I think this summer. I could be wrong on that. It's coming to Steam, I know that. And huge, huge, huge news, at least for me, was they announced the second Resident Evil chapter. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. Resident Evil is actually what brought me into Dead by Daylight to begin with. All that to say that apparently it brought enough people in that they decided to do a second one. And there's leaks on who's coming potentially, and I'm really excited about that. And if true, I think the Project W is a hint towards the fact that the leaks are probably true. And anyways, all that to say, I'm really, really, really excited for more Resident Evil in Dead by Daylight. Clearly, it was the first one was a success for them. Otherwise, they wouldn't do a second follow-up one. So anyways, guys, it's late. I appreciate you watching up to this point, and let me know down in the comments. I'm sure I missed something. I watched the stream through today. I read through the website. It seemed like there were some things on the website that were actually, they acted like we're in the stream, but I missed it in the stream if it was there. There's also some new like merch and stuff that you can look at. I might have missed something. Forgive me if I did. Let somebody drop it down in the comments if I missed something important. All that to say, thank you for watching this. You are awesome. Stay awesome. I hope you have an incredible day or evening or morning or whatever time of day you are watching this, and we will see you in the next episode. Keep your eyes out because I'm going to try to put up some gameplay of the PTB so you get to see the Dredge and the new survivor in action. Hopefully I can get that up real soon. It is late at night. I'm going to go to bed before I keep rambling. You guys are awesome. Stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Oh, also there's some other videos popping up around the screen that if you want to watch, go ahead and watch them. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, also, if you haven't already hit subscribe and you would like to subscribe, please do so. Yeah, it's late. I'm weird. I get tired. I get weird when I get tired. So cheers.